And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, Darren here with you.
I'm Susan, and this is one of our 3-week-old chicks.
Yeah, we're in our basement here in the farmhouse today, and we have had baby chickens, or what we refer to as dibs. I don't know if any of y'all ever heard the old saying, I got first dibs, when you're talking about, you know, who's going to get to ride in the front seat or or whatever. But we call them dibs. Baby chicks to us are dibs. And we've always called them that. My grandparents called them that, and I guess it's just something passed down. But these are how old?
3 weeks.
3-week-old chicks, and they are golden comets. And we've been raising chickens for how long?
About 17 or 18 years.
Yeah, a long time.
Thanks.
And we've had Rhode Island Reds, Cinnamon Queens, Golden Comets, Barred Rocks, Plymouth Barred Rocks,
Welsumers,
Wyandottes, what else?
Easter Eggers, Olive Eggers. Just a dominant. We had some
Dominiques, what we call Dominickers.
The white ones,
Leghorns.
Yeah, and they lay good.
Leghorns lay fantastic. However, out of all the chickens we have ever had in 15 plus years of raising chickens, what's the best egg layers we ever had?
What I'm holding in my hand, a golden comet.
Golden comets. They lay large brown eggs.
Consistently.
And they start laying young.
Yeah, usually about 5 to 6 months old.
Okay,
we're starting to get.
And we buy the chicks at just a few days old, and we raise them to 3 weeks, 4 weeks old, month old, in what we call a brooder. Now, this is not your typical brooder. And one thing we found over the years, and that little gal's getting noisy.
Yeah, she's going back with the flock.
One thing we found over the years with chickens, if you go to a lot of local feed stores and farm type stores, they have what they call chick days. Mm-hmm. And they sell a lot of chickens and baby chickens and dibs. And they sell them in the spring of the year. That's the popular time. That's when they have these big chicken sale days.
Because of Easter, people kind of want those little babies with that.
Yes, and I think another reason is they wait to have those days when the temperatures in the spring and early summer are starting to get up in late May, where a lot of folks don't have to have heat. They can just put them in a small chicken house or a little run or something, and they're old enough by that point that maybe they don't need that much heat. And really, that's not the best time.
No.
As far as your egg laying goes, we want our chickens in the spring and early summer to really be laying. Mm-hmm. And if you buy them in the spring, they're nowhere near old enough to even be considered to start laying during the summer. You're not going to start getting eggs till almost winter. And then by then, the photo period and the amount of daylight in the day has really decreased, and that's a natural decrease in egg production. Anybody that's owned chickens will tell you that their birds lay really good through the spring, summer, and fall, and come winter, the egg production drops off some. Mm-hmm. because of the amount of daylight the chickens are getting each day. Well, we want ours, or especially our new chickens, to, during that summer period, they're starting to lay late spring, and they lay really good through the summer, while everybody else that's bought dibs in the spring, they're not going to get any eggs till winter, and then only a few, and their production is not really going to pick up till the following spring. So you're looking at a year.
Sometimes, yeah, 10
before your
months to a
production
year.
really picks up. And we found that if you'll buy your chicks or hatch your chicks in winter, late fall, early winter, like in November, December, and get them then, hatch them then, and raise them in a brooder, by early summer, those chickens will start laying.
Yeah, these girls should be laying good for us by Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Typically, I get chicks for my birthday in November. This year, I may have gotten a goat instead. But then for Christmas and, Valentine's, we're kind of in between those two holidays, and I just needed some chicks.
Yeah, with the egg shortage going on across the country and all that stuff.
Plus, we try to get chicks twice a year so that every, 12 to 18 months we've got better chance of having year-round production with the way we do our chicks. But
absolutely. So raising baby chicks in the dead of winter presents some issues, and it's not for everyone. We realize that a lot of folks in the spring of the year probably is the best time for them to buy chicks. However, we want the production through the summer and our staggered age of chickens. So we found that raising dibs in the winter is best for us, but that presents some issues with the weather.
We've been one of the only farms around this winter that has consistently had eggs for our customers every week.
Yeah, in the winter. Yeah, absolutely. So how we overcame that, yes, we raise dibs in our basement. We have a concrete floor in our basement of our farmhouse, and we raise dibs down here to eliminate the cold weather. And it stays a consistent about 65 degrees, 60 to 65 degrees in our basement year round. And that's not hot enough for baby dibs.
No, they need to be about between 95 and 100 degrees. The first couple of weeks, and after about the third week, we're actually getting ready to move these. But what we do is you need to decrease your temperature about 5 degrees a week until they are fully feathered. So to do that, Darren has come up with a really good system of being able to move the heat lamp up and down. So the closer it is, the further down it is, the closer to the chicks, the warmer it is. Right now in here it's about 85 degrees. And you can see they're kind of all back in the corner. They are starting to, their downy is pretty much gone, and they're starting to get some feathers on them. So.
Okay, so how do we raise baby dibs in our basement without just creating a mess? You can't just allow them to free range in your home.
Hold that thought though. When they get this big, they're creating a mess anyway.
Yeah, that's why we're moving them. They're big enough now, and they've got enough feathers. It's time to move them to the outdoor coop. We're still going to have heat with them, but let us show you what we've done. And this is unique and cheap. If you want to raise baby chickens in the winter, hey, and you're on a small family farm and you've got a budget, you've got to keep all this in mind. And we're going to show you a really, really cheap way that's been really effective for us, has it? It's worked phenomenal. We'll show you what we did. Okay, a cheap, easy way to raise dibs in an environment where you want to keep them warm and no mess. Go to any department store. You can go to Walmart, Dollar Generals, stores like that. Of the summer, you're going to have to do this this summer because this is usually a seasonal item. And buy you a dirt cheap, inexpensive kiddie pool. This kiddie pool is maybe about 10, 12 inches deep, a foot deep. And I'm not sure exactly how big it is. Let me look on the label here and see if it tells. This one is, well, I don't think it actually tells, but this thing is probably about 5 foot across.
It was a bigger one. It was not the smallest or the biggest. It's a mid-size.
Yeah, it's a mid-sized. Just go and buy you one of these cheap plastic kiddie pools. They are waterproof. You can just put some pine shavings around in the bottom and set your little feeder and a little water thing. And this little thing we've got here is actually a target stand that I use to put a paper target on when I'm sighting in my black powder rifle. But anyway, all you need is just something to stand in here. You can just look around your house and find something, a shelf or an old stool or anything that you can mount a heat lamp to, and just sit it in here, put your heat lamp on, and in your home you've got heat and water, food, and you've got electrical outlets in your home that you can use. And this little kiddie pool makes a fantastic chick brooder. I mean fantastic. Now bear in mind, this thing is only about 12, maybe 14 inches tall. And once your chicks, or dibs, start getting feathers on their wings and stuff, they're going to start almost wanting to fly out of this thing. And that is your signal. When you get a dib or two that gets out of this thing and you hear them chirping, and you come down into your basement or out into your garage and one is out, that is a good indication that they're getting too big for this. It's time to move them to a bona fide coop. So we keep them in here, and that we've had them in the basement through sub-zero weather outside and snow, and when it's been really cold, and now their feathering starting to feather out. They still have downy on their heads, but they're getting plenty of feathers, and they're plenty big enough to move outside to the coop. Now we'll lock them in the coop and not allow them to go out into the weather for another couple of weeks with a heat lamp, and then what we will do is remove the heat lamp completely, and then in a couple more weeks we will start opening the door and letting them out of the coop and let them go in and out when they want. So a cheap pool it's worked fantastic, and it's on the cheap. You can buy these things dirt cheap at different places. Just find you an old cheap pool, put you some shavings down in it, and when you're done with the pool and you're going to move the chicks outside, all you got to do is carry this thing outside and take a water hose to it and wash it down and store it till you're ready for the next ones. Fantastic. All right, we're going to get these chicks moved.
Hey, sweetie, what are we going to have for supper?
I'm not sure.
Well, I have a bucket of chicken.
Oh my, a bucket of chicken.
A bucket of baby chicks, at least. These girls are ready for their time in the big coop. They've outgrown the brooder, so here we go, ready to put them in. Look at them. The goats are not impressed. So we've been out here getting the big coop ready. Darren got the light hung and the feeder hung and the waterer's in here, so check that out. I'm going to set this in and go turn the light on real quick. I didn't turn the light on. You tell them what you done there. Okay.
Heat is on.
The heat is on.
Installed a heat lamp in the coop and put fresh bedding down, and Susan spread the old bedding and chicken manure on our rear hay pasture, and the dibs are ready to go in their new apartment.
Yeah, they'll stay here until this is their home. We obviously won't let them out for a few weeks, but as they're old enough, they'll start venturing out. There's some water, babies. Look at that. Looky there. Here, make sure you know where your water is. There you go. And put you over here at the feed. A little overwhelming, isn't it, girls? Oh, there we go. Now don't jump out. All right. And that is that. Just like that, the girls have, in 3 weeks, outgrown the brooder in the basement and the nice swimming pool, and now they're in the big house. We put their waterer up on that block. It kind of keeps it cleaner.
Keeps the shavings out.
Yeah, it keeps the shavings out, and then the hanging feeder keeps them from wasting quite as much as the little troughs. So this is the setup that we actually prefer. We've been doing chicks several times a year for 15 plus years, so this is our favorite setup.
Okay, we got all the dibs moved, and they're in their new humble abode for the rest of their life, I guess.
Yeah, unless we might move them to the other one in the back, where I don't know, but yeah, this is their home now.
Yeah, we let them out every day around noon to free range, but these ain't nowhere near old enough yet. It'll be
several weeks.
Yeah, it'll be maybe a month, maybe 2 months before we start
Depends
letting
on
them
the
out.
weather.
Yeah, the weather, before we start letting them out to free range any with our older hens and get them kind of integrated into the flock. So thanks for being with us today here on the farm as we moved our chickens, and it seems like chickens is the gateway animal to farming and homesteading and things like that. We don't really consider us homesteaders. We're farmers, and but that's kind of one of the gateway animals that gets people into thinking about farming and raising livestock and things like that. And it was for us too, wasn't it?
That 4-H project turned into a decades-long project.
Yeah, our daughter brought home some baby chicks from a 4-H project to raise, and
Fuzzwell turned into I don't know how many chickens we've had through the years.
Yeah, she named her first little chick Fuzzwell. But anyway, chickens are, to me, they're kind of a necessity around a farm. They fertilize our pastures and our hay fields, and they eat fly larvae and bugs around out of manure, and not only that, they provide us with fresh, delicious eggs every day. So we're happy to have chickens here on the farm. We've always had them and probably always will. Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it very much, and if you haven't, we'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel. God bless, and y'all have a good day.
Thanks.